it was a Nazi salute. Before I go any further, I'm going to clarify some stuff, even though I know no one will ever see this. I'm genuinely, I think, making this video for myself because I just learned that some people don't have an inner narrative, like they don't hear their voice in their head maybe or something like that, or inner monologue, but I have that and it doesn't shut up. And when I'm trying to sleep, it will make these long speeches, and it's only for me. I'm the audience for myself, and it, like, why am I not sleeping right now for this? So I'm mainly making this for myself, but should anybody ever accidentally stumble on this, I made this YouTube channel. Short answer, hubris. But back when Twitter was Twitter and I thought I had a following and I thought I had a reason to, I was mostly just posting podcast reviews. And I was also convinced that if I just watched enough YouTube tutorials and Instagram and stuff, I would learn how to apply makeup. And I was wrong. I did not learn how to do that. And so, you know, you might be wondering why this video is vertical and there's this big black space, you know, on the rest of the video. And that is because if you don't want to look at my face while I'm talking, and I don't blame you because this is what I look like, well, I guess you could just like listen to this like it's a podcast, but there's also going to be some visuals. Like I can just like today it's going to be the void beside me is going to be used for just like watching me just like mess up some pictures on my camera roll and just like making them into pretty little patterns using a symmetry tool. Like that's soothing, right? Look at that instead of my face. And that's for you. That's my gift to you. It could also be used for like information, like if I need to post a link or something, or in this case, trigger warnings. As the intro of this video indicated, I'm going to be talking about Elon Musk, who is a walking, talking trigger warning, but also like specifically the Nazi salute that he absolutely did, but not in the way that everybody's already been talking about it, which is kind of the point. This is, again, the thing that my brain won't shut up about. But I will also be issuing a trigger warning for discussion of sexual assault because I'm going to be talking about Donald Trump, our fearless leader. And that was sarcasm. I've only recently learned that I should clarify that sometimes. I won't be going into the details of any kind of assault, but I think it's more important right now to issue the warning that not only will I be like just talking about sexual assault existing, but specifically talking about the way that Donald Trump, for lack of better words, refuted. Thanks, Jordy. My dog's here. I don't know if you can hear him in the background. He didn't deny any accusations or refute them in the traditional sense, which again is kind of the point of this video, but the way that he did, the language that he used, I believe is similar to language that other abusers have used to justify their abuse to themselves or just to mess with the heads of their victims. And so I wanted to make that clear. So if that's not what you want to hear about, or you're okay with Elon but not Trump or whatever it may be, you know, just I'm going to try my best to put like chapter titles or whatever you call it in the YouTube video. So that's the trigger warning. Other than that, you know, like, I mean, sometimes I might put videos of like my glass art or something, but just like anything to give you something soothing to look at instead of my face. And also, you know, soothing right now provides a nice juxtaposition to the subject matter that I'm about to talk about. So obviously it was a Nazi salute. My grandfather was a Holocaust survivor. I'm Jewish. And strangely enough, I think this is the weirdest time to pull this. I mean, it's just strange that I'm about to use this as evidence to support my own case, but like literal Nazis are celebrating because they saw what Elon Musk did and they were like, yay, he did a Nazi salute. Like, I honestly, I mean, like, I don't consider these people authority figures on much, but I mean, the one thing that Nazis are authority figures on is not Nazi stuff, like being Nazis. So they say it's a Nazi salute, but I also don't blame people for that initial reaction of just like, nah, he was throwing his heart at people, you know, like that gesture that people do, that you throw your heart out, or he has autism. Like, I have known so many people with autism in my life, and very well maybe one myself, and I've never seen any of them just accidentally Heil Hitler, just like as part of, anyway, but we'll get back to that. Or, you know, like all those, you know, there was a fly on his shirt, so he had to fling it off. I understand that, because I actually had the same initial reaction. I had like, kind of, it was like a version of like the way that people process grief, you know, the stages of grieving. A denial was first, where I was just like, I was like looking at the video and I didn't want to believe my own eyes. It's just like, there's no way. Like, this couldn't possibly happening. Did I forget to say the word be just then? Possibly be happening. You know, that was my first reaction, genuinely. I was just like, it's gotta be, it can't be, like, this isn't allowed, like, no, and then I actually hit acceptance next. Like, acceptance is supposed to be the final stage, but I hit acceptance, but not like, oh, I can accept this, like, I can be okay with this. It was more acceptance, like, I accepted the truth, that there was no denying it. So I accepted that he did a Nazi salute, but I didn't accept it as in like, okay, I'm okay with this. You know what I mean? Like, I just accepted the truth as it was, because it was a Nazi salute. And he did it a little quickly, almost as if part of him knew he probably shouldn't be doing it, and he thought if he did it fast enough that people might not notice. But also, like, he did it twice in a row, so anyway, so then, like, after the acceptance, I kind of hit like anger and depression at the same time. And then I was supposed to be able to go, like, move on from that to acceptance, because that's the final stage, but I'd already used that one. So now I'm still angry and depressed at the same time, and I guess I just will be forever about this, because you can't do acceptance twice. That's just insane. So yeah, so I did have that initial denial, and everybody's talking about it, but what I actually want to talk about, and what my inner monologue wants to talk about, is kind of like the major issue, right, is fascism. Like, we are just living in a nightmare hellscape right now. But because of that, nobody addresses, like, and this is going to come up with Trump's sexual assault allegations too. Nobody addresses what it would mean if the people defending Elon Musk and later Donald Trump are correct. Like, if we accept their narrative as truth, which we don't because it's wrong, but if we did, I want to look at what that scenario means. I guess before I do that, I want to also say it's weird that people were rushing to Elon Musk's defense, like American citizens were. I wanted to be like, hey guys, like, you don't have to defend him. He's not an elected official, and he's not American, and by all accounts, he may even be illegally here. So you could just, like, let whatever happens to him happen. You don't actually have to rush to his defense. I think they kind of, people rightfully so, see defending Elon Musk as like equivalent to defending Trump at this point, which I think is pretty funny. But like, this is, you know, like, there's not going to be, look, first of all, there's not going to be like tangible consequences for him. He's a billionaire. But like, at the same time, he's a billionaire who bought an entire social media outlet. What do you call it? Platform. There we go. Just so that he could have like an entire social media for people to like talk to him and see him as cool. And like, he clearly has his ego tied up in that. And so it's kind of funny that like the one consequence that he is suffering which again is not like going to have any lasting impact on his life, is that he's being completely torn apart on social media, since that seems to be the one thing that he is extremely concerned about, because he is incredibly fragile. And so, I mean, like, I do like that, but like that, and that's the only consequence that will happen. I mean, again, he's not an elected official, so it's not like we can impeach Elon Musk. Although I'd be for it. So people could just like not defend him. They could just not. They should be defending Trump, because while many people have pointed out that, Elon Musk never went on his own social media platform or anyone else's, and like apologized and said something like, I do not wish to be seen as a Nazi. I don't like those guys. Many people have pointed out that he didn't do that. Nobody's really pointed out that like Trump also hasn't really. Okay, I shouldn't say nobody. I haven't seen anybody point out that Trump also didn't go on his social media or anyone else's. Trump loves to go on social media. He loves to like all caps be like, Merry Christmas to Taylor Swift. I'm going to cut off all your hair and feed it to Greta Thunberg or whatever. Like, did I pronounce her? Yeah, whatever. Like he just loves it. So like he was also silent about, he's the one who needs defending because he is the president, for better or for worse. And he didn't go like, hey, it's not okay with me that Elon Musk did a Heil Hitler. That Elon Musk did 2 Heil Hitlers in a row at my inauguration. I just want everyone to know, I am not okay with that. Like, maybe his supporters should be like, he didn't feel the need to weigh in, or I don't know what they would say about it. Like, he didn't want to lower himself to this or whatever. But they forgot to defend him. Like, he also hasn't really, like, I mean, like, silence is pretty damning in this context. It's like if you are silent in this context, it just means like you don't have to explicitly say you're okay with Nazis. You could also just not say you're not okay with Nazis. When a Nazi shows up at your inauguration and does a Nazi thing, you could just not say anything, and then everybody could be like, okay, cool. So this person's okay with Nazis. But the narrative that people want to push is that Elon Musk either didn't do a Nazi salute at all, right? He had a mild seizure. He, was trying to throw his organs at the crowd, whatever. It was an accident. It was a tic. It was whatever they want to say. And I think I said either at some point, but like that was it. That's their narrative, is that he didn't do it. It's not a Nazi salute. That's just, your eyes are lying to you. And so what I want to address is the reality is that the best case scenario that these people have to work with, there's a best case scenario and a slightly worse best case scenario. The best case scenario is that he accidentally did an awkward gesture that looked like a Nazi salute but wasn't one. But then you have to take that all the way to its conclusion, which is that after the event, everybody went online, and he saw it immediately. He probably didn't even wait until the inauguration was over to be on his phone checking Twitter. Everybody was saying, wow, he did a Heil Hitler. And he still didn't like jump online and be like, oops, I swear I didn't mean it that way. Like, now that you like pointed out, like, I know what I did was wrong, right? And so there's 2 possibilities from this. One is that these people are saying that this billionaire supposed genius accidentally did a gesture, and in the moment he was doing it and repeating it, and then afterwards when people were pointing it out, he still was completely unaware of its historical significance. Like, basically that, like, the only way someone could accidentally do a Hitler salute and then play back the video and see it and not be bothered by that is to be just like wholly unaware of World War II and the people involved and all that stuff. Like, if I accidentally threw my arm up that way, my first thought and my second thought and my third thought would be like, I better clarify with everyone that I was just like, I thought I saw a Superman, but that, and I was going to point, and then I realized that it was a bird. And so I stopped pointing, but I just like, my first thing would be like, hey guys, just so you know, I was not Heiling Hitler. That was, sorry, that was an accident. Like, so he would, to not have done that immediately or after, he would have to be just completely unaware, despite visiting Auschwitz. That makes him not an anti-Semite, right? That he visited the site. He would have to be completely unaware of like who Hitler even was, or like what people were doing, like what that arm thing is. And like, so your best case scenario is that he's just supremely stupid and ignorant. Like that's what you're saying. Like, hey guys, he didn't mean anything by it. He's just dumb. He's just real dumb. Like he did it by accident. He wasn't even aware that what he was doing was wrong, because he is fundamentally unaware of one of the most historically significant events in the past 100-200 years. God, it is 2025. Jeez. But anyway, so it's like, okay, all right, so that's not good either, though. Like, so you defending him, it falls apart there, because that's also not good. That he didn't, like, he was just too stupid to know that what he was doing was wrong. Like, I say that about my dog. My dog doesn't realize that he shouldn't leave the house without a leash on. Like, that's okay though, because he's a dog and he didn't even go to college. But like, Elon Musk should know what a Heil Hitler Nazi salute is. He should know what World War II is. He should know who Hitler is. And then there's like the slightly worse version of this, which is he does know. He's not stupid. He knows. He knows who Hitler was. He knows what a Nazi salute is. And that means that when he did it, and everybody pointed out that he did it, and he didn't immediately jump online and at least, like, even if he just straight up is a Nazi, which he is, like, at least lie to save face. Like, he couldn't even be bothered to do that. So the slightly worst case scenario is he did it by accident, is aware what a Nazi salute is, but when he discovered the optics of what he did, he felt no particular need to refute being a Nazi or apologize for his actions. So, yeah, I mean, I've already made a point about what silence on, Nazi salutes, accidental or purposeful or otherwise, means. But like, that's also not good. So you can't really defend him that way either, because even if it was an accident, the fact that he didn't acknowledge it or the optics of it, or even say like, my bad, half-heartedly, that's still not good. That's still not a defense. That's actually real bad. That's your best case scenario. That's the best case. There's the worst case, which is the true one, is that he just like full on Nazi saluted and then turned around and did it again, and is not upset about that at all because he's a Nazi. So he feels no reason to apologize. So the worst case is the true one, and that's what everyone's talking about and should be talking about. I just wanted to point out that the best case scenario, like his defenders are pushing, is not really that great either. Like, there's no leg to stand on. And the reason I bring up Trump's sexual assault allegations is because this one has bothered me a lot for a lot of reasons, for a while. And so this is, where that sexual assault trigger warning is coming into play. It's a very similar thing, where if you really break it down, the defense that people saw, the best case scenario of Trump and his sexual assault allegations, which I believe now he has at least one conviction in. So at the time they were only allegations. At the time that I'm referring to, this would be pre 2016, like his first term. He had also just admitted you know, to that locker room talk, right? You know, when you like talk about assaulting women, he admitted to enjoying using his status and power as the celebrity to do whatever he wanted to women's bodies. Like he just said those words out loud, but like, you know, that wasn't in front of a trial, so you know, so still allegations. Um, so the best case scenario is still terrible in that as well. Nobody was really pointing that out. And so in order to like to hit this home, send it home, you know, mail it home, I'd like to pose a hypothetical. I'd like to have you, you know, you imagine that somebody, not somebody you know so much as like somebody you definitely had an interaction with, because I'm thinking about like interviews, professional, yeah, interviews. So yeah, so like say it doesn't even matter, like either you interviewed someone or someone interviewed you for like a job, and it was a one-on-one interview, right? So basically it's very important that like you definitely spent some time alone with no witnesses with this person, and that person later on social media or on a small news outlet or something just straight up accused you of sexual assault. And in this scenario, I want you to know you did not do it. You are innocent, and you are being wrongly accused of sexual assault. And, you know, I can say that if it were me, I would not sleep. I would not eat. I'd be sitting there going like, God, what did I do something to like, you know, like all I did was shake their hand. Like I shook their hand. That was the only contact. I shook their hand when we, you know, when I came into the room. I shook their hand when we were saying goodbye. Like, and you know, and you know, like the anxiety would just be like, I wouldn't be able to function until I'd be calling lawyers. I'd be like, just doing everything I can to as quickly as possible refute this. Like some of the damage would just be permanent. Like if you get accused publicly of being, you know, a sexual assaulter, you know, even if it gets refuted and very clearly proven false, like that can definitely ruin a lot of opportunities for you. And like there's damage that can be done and really not undone. But still, I would not sleep until that issue had been addressed as much as possible and hopefully resolved, right? And I don't know about you, but I'm thinking that it would be similar. It might be anger. Like I would, if somebody falsely accused you of sexual assault, you know, like I would not blame you one bit if your reaction was, among other things, fury. Like it might make you just beyond angry. That's fine. You know, I still imagine you would be pushing to make sure that that person was, you know, there might be, you know, taken to court, whatever it may be, to get it taken back, to get the truth out there, to make sure that people understand you did not do this, right? You had a job interview, or they had a job interview, whichever one, right? And that is it. And now I'd like you to imagine that someone else that you are semi close to, like a father, uncle, like even like a close friend, has been accused, again falsely, of sexual assault. And you know this, like in this scenario, you know that it was a false accusation, not like literally like omniscient narrator style, like not just like you trust this person, so you just can't believe they would have done that. Literally, like I'm telling you, you know they didn't do it, but they're still in this exact same situation where somebody has accused them of it. And then and this is a person that, you know well and get along with and maybe even love them, or at least like them a lot, right? And I want you to genuinely imagine that you find out that this person has been accused of sexual assault, and that when you talk to them about it, their response is just that. They just shrug and move on. And you ask, like, have they tried to like address it in any way? And they're like, nah. And that's it. That's their response. She's like, nah. I don't know what that person's talking about anyway. So, and then they change the subject. And the reason that I bring that up is I want you to consider how you would feel about that, about that person that you possibly, like your father, your uncle, your best friend, just shrugging off a sexual assault allegation, false or otherwise, just not being bothered by it. A public one that like many people have seen and reacted to. Like people are calling for them to be arrested or you know, punished in some way, right? Or at least investigated, and their reaction is like, that would at the very least be strange, I feel like, to you. It would be to me. I'd be concerned. Concerned is the word for me. And I bring all this up, I think people know why, because that is what Donald Trump's response was. Worse than that, he joked about it. And so I want to look at, because I fully believe every single person who accused him, like just like the man has, like I said, already admitted to assault and harassment. He's not a good person, okay? But I want to explore what the best case scenario would say about him too, because I think it's very telling and it's very damning. The best case scenario in a hypothetical, right, is that Donald Trump was falsely accused of sexual assault and sexual harassment by multiple women, but, you know, falsely. All of them were lying. It was a conspiracy of women. We're always doing that, right? That's actually how, you know, it's a group of women is called a conspiracy. Actually, I think there is an animal that is a conspiracy. I don't know. Anyway, ADHD rears its ugly head. So in this scenario, one or more women have falsely accused him of sexual assault. They're lying in this hypothetical scenario. And his response is not anxiety. It's not, hey, I'm going to take action against these women because I don't like that I have been accused of, I want to say one of the most heinous crimes, but I think that is directly quoting Law and Order SVU. But like, they're not wrong, so I'll say it, you know. He does not say at any point at any of his rallies, and this turns out to be a great strategy for him because people just go along with it, right? People are very good at going along with Donald Trump. He sets the energy and they go with it. But like, he does not say, I would never. He does not say, I did not do it. At least in the things that I had seen. You know, he was either silent or he joked about it. He shrugged it off. He laughed. He said, come on, look at her. Really? Implying, of course, that the person that he was talking about at that time was too ugly for him. It wasn't his type. And that is a common enough thing for abusers to say. You are too ugly to assault. This isn't assault because you are ugly. And then if you take that one step further, he is saying that if she had been his type, yeah, he'd have gone for it. Like, that's the implication, right? Like, he's saying the only thing that actually prevented him from assaulting this woman was that he found her unattractive. When he says, come on, look at her, Donald Trump face, right? He's calling her ugly. That's what it is. And he's saying, that's his denial. It's like, oh no, I wouldn't have done that, not because it's wrong, but because she was ugly. So the best case scenario that we have for the current president and the man who was president in 2016 is that he didn't commit sexual assault, but wasn't bothered by the accusation in the slightest, did nothing to really try to prove his innocence, never spoke out against sexual assault, never explicitly said that's not something I would do because I don't, you know, I would never do such a horrible thing, you know, and laughed about it. He made a joke of it. That was his response. And that's the best case scenario, right? Because there's a different scenario, an actually good one, in a world where he's innocent, where he's accused falsely of sexual assault, and he says, I have not done that. I'm going to speak out against sexual assault and say that I would never touch a person without their consent. Like, that's what it should have been. But we didn't get that. We got, no, I didn't assault those women. They weren't pretty enough. And that's the best. And nobody's really talking about how that's not good either. Just like with Elon Musk, that is also not good. That's actually terrible. That a man who was at the time running for president had horrible accusations levied against him and was unbothered. He didn't lose a wink of sleep. And I'm trying to tell you that that's why I brought up the hypothetical earlier, the scenario of like you have been falsely accused or someone you know has been falsely accused, because that's not a normal response. If you have been accused of a crime, it should cause you some negative emotion. If you're a politician who's been accused of a crime, you should address it. You should say, I don't do crime. I don't like doing crime. I don't approve of crime. You might even, send out PSAs about like what constitutes this type of crime and how to avoid doing it and to make sure that you're being responsible. But instead he said, that was his response. And that is terrible. And that's the best we could have had. But it's worse than that because he did assault those women. So now we have to look at the fact that he absolutely assaulted those women, and his response was, they're ugly. This is the man in the White House. He's currently taking away, aid that my children use. This is the man who is allowing Elon Musk to infiltrate the government. An illegal immigrant, somebody that he professes to not like. He doesn't like illegal immigrants, right? He doesn't like them. He wanted to build a wall. And by the way, I'm going to end this video by saying every time Trump talked about building a wall, I'm of that generation where all I could hear and picture was Patrick Star from SpongeBob in that episode where Bikini Bottom is beset by a giant worm. And Patrick suggests taking Bikini Bottom and pushing it somewhere else. That's all I can hear. Anytime he's like, build a wall. It'll stop people coming in this country. Like, did no one sit him down and like draw, maybe do like a little drawing and be like, look, people come in country other ways. Like Elon Musk, for example, they come in legally and then they just stay. And so wall no stop them, right? So, but like, I'm getting ADHD strikes again. We have two very powerful men who have done terrible things, and even their defenders or their defense of themselves, when you break it down, is not a defense at all. It just proves that no matter what, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you cut it up and dice it up and re-narrativize it, I'm just making up words now, it's terrible. They're terrible. And people are asking why we're not protesting more. And it's just such a complex issue. I don't have time for it. But I feel sick. Like, I will probably have to do several more of these videos to shut my brain up. But like, the presidential election was never supposed to be about your team winning. About getting your team captain in office and sticking it to the other guys. That's the Super Bowl. You even hear people using language that like you would expect to hear at a sporting event. They're gonna own the libs. They're gonna make the libs cry. Like, just replace the libs with like, oh God, come up with a sports team. Bengals fans is that a band? Oh wait, no, BANGLES is a band, but I think BENGALS is a team. Okay, we're gonna own the Bengals, the Patriots. That's on topic, right? We're gonna own them. We're gonna make them cry. It was never supposed to be that. It wasn't about winning. That's not what a democratic election is supposed to be about. It's not supposed to be about your team winning. It's supposed to be about the whole country winning, no matter what. It's supposed to be about voting for the person whose vision for the country best aligns with your own, But like if somebody else wins, you still hope that they're going to do the best they possibly can for the country. Right? You don't like, you're not supposed to hate them. And the person who wins is supposed to understand that they are the president of the entire country, even the people who didn't vote for them. And that they were elected by the people and work for the people. They are an elected official. So they don't rule the country. They lead based on, and doing the best they can for the people, because the people are their employer. That's how it's supposed to be. But, and I'm just going to do another video about this, but like, Donald Trump and Donald Trump supporters have lost that narrative. They've lost that thread, right? It's gone so far off track. But like, I have to say this. Who else were they going to vote for? We were put in a system where it's like, you vote for your team, or you shut up, or you complain about your team losing. But like, you have no other options, no other good options, right? No viable options. It's partially the fault of the Electoral College, and it's partially the fault of the two-party system. And yeah, I'll have to ramble about this another time. I'm losing my voice, but yeah. Elon Musk and Donald Trump are deplorable people. And also, I think we should deport Elon. I think that'd be really funny. Like, he's not American originally, and I don't think he's legally American, although I'm not a lawyer, so that's, take that or leave it. But I think it'd be pretty funny. You know those like $80,000 flights that we've been paying for with our tax money? We should use one of those to just like send Elon away. That'd be fun. Okay, bye.